Good evening and welcome to Newswatch on Hope TV. We're coming to you live from 28 Valley Road. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. I'm Tony Omondi and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's begin with our top story tonight. Now, just a day after the Azimio la Umoja women leaders endorsed NARC Kenya leader Martha Karua to deputize ODM leader Raila Odinga in the August 9th general election, Wiper Party women leaders have refuted the endorsement, saying they were not involved in the decision. This further rocks divisions in the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya alliance that has seen its leaders battle for supremacy and party shareholding. The Wiper women leaders, led by Makueni legislator Rose Museo, have maintained that Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka must deputize Raila Odinga in the upcoming general election. The team said Monday's decision by Azimio women leaders was one-sided and that Wiper, being part of the Azimio One Kenya coalition, has distanced itself from the team that made the previous announcement. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka had over the weekend demanded that he deputizes Odinga. Let's listen in to what the Wiper women leaders had to say.
Sisi kama kina mama, kile ambacho tunajua ni kwamba Azimio Oka ama Azimio One Kenya ni kwamba sisi pia kama Women League tuko na akina mama ambao tuko na ligi yetu kama Wiper. Na jana tuliona kwamba waliweza kusema wamekusanyika wote pale kama caucus ya kina mama ili kuweza kumuidhinisha Martha Karua, Mheshimiwa Martha Karua kuweza kuwa deputy wa Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Lakini sisi kama kina mama wa Wiper Women Democrats tunasema kwamba hatukuhusishwa na sisi tunahesabika kuwa pamoja na wao. Walituignore, kwa hivyo decision hiyo ambao walichukua sisi tunakataana nayo kwa sababu hatuko sehemu hiyo ama we are not party to that.
Because it is obvious in Ukambani we have numbers and we don't want to take chances. We want Azimio to walk away with this seat. And it has been obvious. The other 2017, Raila stood with His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yes.
And we saw how it went. The way Ukambani voted, why would we want to say, shortchange him now? This is the time we need this seat like anything else. Let us be firm and stand and demand for our right. Because we want this seat to come. We do not want to take chances.
The Wiper Democratic Movement has issued former Kitui Governor Dr. Julius Malombe a direct ticket to vie for the Kitui gubernatorial position in August 9th election. The party settled on Malombe through consensus that has taken over 2 weeks between him and the immediate former Kenyan ambassador to Uganda, Kiama Kilonzo, spearheaded by the Wiper party leader Kalonzo Musyoka. During a brief ceremony held at the command center, Kalonzo said they relied on several options before settling on Malombe, including scientific survey, religious leaders' views, and National Executive Council NEC resolutions. Malombe will now battle it out with incumbent Governor Charity Ngilu of NARC Party, former Kitui Senator David Musila of the Jubilee Party, and former Nairobi Deputy Governor Jonathan Muweke of the United Democratic Alliance UDA Party.
We acknowledge receipt of the documentation, and we are pleased to inform you that you qualify for nomination and opposed as governor for Kitui County.
Yesterday morning, members of clergy who were involved in this effort gave me a recommendation to take to the National Executive Council of the party. And the decision was that this ticket should be given to Governor Dr. Julius Malombe. And NEC unanimously, actually they were clapping, unanimously adopted that recommendation. So I would just want to ask that, and since that time I had a meeting with Ambassador Kiama, a long meeting with him. But of course, in the case of Senator Musila, he chose to join Jubilee when he thought that things were not working out in accordance with his own expectations. So I'm very happy to present Dr. Julius Malombe to the people of Kitui to run on a Wiper ticket.
I want to assure everybody who is here, including the party leader and the members of the party in Kitui and in Lower Eastern in general, that one seat which they can take as a guarantee that will be delivered is that of Governor Kitui County.
Yes.
Our independent candidates in the upcoming general election have called on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, to be considerate and avoid imposing exaggerated demands and requirements on them. Through the Independent Candidates Forum of Kenya, ICFK, the aspirants who lost in party primaries as others opted to vie on independent tickets in fear of losing in party primaries claim IEBC is demanding that they provide ID copies of all signatories to their nomination. The candidates are required to do so with the short timeline of up to April 28th, when all candidates are required to present their nomination papers to their respective IEBC offices for scrutiny. Through lawyer Danson Amari, the candidates have petitioned IEBC in court to drop the requirement before April 27th. Dickens Luvanda reports.
As the country edges closer to the historic August 9th general elections, various political candidates are lining up for various seats through different political party tickets. But a group of aspirants vying as independent candidates is also gaining numbers, with the number expected to increase, especially after the close of party primaries on April 22nd.
Sisi tutaitana tena kama viongozi wa mashinani na kama wana Malindi ambao tuko na sauti na tutapeana mwelekeo mpya.
Already, some aspirants have announced defection to vie as independent candidates.
We were in the race and we are going very well with the party UDA. And everybody knows what went on there. And we, in South Imenti, together with the community that raised me, we are going on an independent card to the ballot that is on the 9th of August 2022 for the Member of Parliament South Imenti.
The independent aspirants who are vying for various political seats are calling on the IEBC to reconsider the requirement that they should submit thousands of national ID copies belonging to their supporters as one of the qualifications criteria before they are cleared to vie.
We strongly object to IEBC introducing the requirements for candidates to obtaining of identity cards from signatories for their nomination. This was not a requirement even in 2017 elections. IEBC has all the information it needs to verify the identity of the signatories. Insistence on this condition is prohibitive to independent candidates, signature corrections, and minimizing confidence by voters, some of whom suspects ill motives by us.
The aspirants under the Independent Candidates Forum of Kenya umbrella said the commission has also given them a deadline to beat, considering that they are required to present nomination papers to the commission by April 28th.
We have been denied the signatory booklets until when they will call us, and the time frame is only 10 days to the deadline. Figure out this with me. I'll be a governor of Nairobi. I'm supposed to collect the signatures. How do I do that door to door in 10 days?
Through lawyer Danson Omari, independent candidates have moved to court to petition the IEBC to drop the signatories' ID copies requirement in order to support their political ambitions, with the case expected to be heard by April 27th, a day before the deadline.
And for them to present more than 48,000 photocopies of national IDs as a condition before they are cleared to contest, which is unconstitutional in terms of the law, and also which is expensive in terms of them, and which is a security risk for those ones who are going to give those photocopies.
As of March 29th this year, the Registrar of Political Parties Nderitu had registered over 900 aspirants seeking to vie as independent candidates in the upcoming polls, with a total of 650 independent candidates getting a leeway to campaign after their symbols were cleared. Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
Moving on, Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i Tuesday afternoon attended the SCK Bishops and Senior Clergy Conference 2022. While addressing the clergy, Matiang'i said that the government has put into place stringent measures to ensure that the upcoming August polls are conducted peacefully. Matiang'i has also hailed the Anglican Church for its role in engaging government on issues affecting the nation. As Tess Njenga reports, the conference, which began on Monday 18th, will run till Thursday 22nd April with the theme Wholesome Living for a Wholesome Nation, Road to 2022 Election and Beyond.
While addressing the clergy on the country's state of security, Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i has said that it is by and large safe and secure, adding that the ministry is thoroughly prepared for the elections.
President Kenyatta has appointed over 600 new chiefs and assistant chiefs to create new areas of administration that are closer to the people. Just recently, the public service promoted 6,000 of those administrators to new ranks to give them new responsibilities. The president has demanded that before the elections, every deputy county commissioner has a brand new vehicle. And what that means is that in some counties, you have 4 or 5 vehicles that are going to be used by national government officials who are moving around the country.
Matiang'i also dismissed the deep state notion, saying that the government is being run in a transparent manner.
You know, when you keep saying this deep state, who is that? And the people who are using that phrase and complaining are members of the National Security Council. They hold public offices. They tell you they are powerful people. So who is that? You know, this facade and stories that are being coined and being bandied around, just so that people create excuses and they camouflage around things that don't exist to survive, or create excuses and pathways of lying and carrying the public along with them.
During the ACK Clergy Conference aimed at discussing and building consensus on key issues of concern with regard to securing a peaceful election, ACK Archbishop Most Reverend Jackson Olesapit offered a collective commitment to praying for national cohesion ahead of the August polls.
We call the church to gather to pray for the nation, particularly this year, under the theme Wholesome Living for a Wholesome Nation. We realize as a church we have a duty and a responsibility to ensure that Kenya is safe, because that's where we operate and do God's mission.
Also present in the conference were Attorney General Kihara Kariuki, Cabinet Secretary for Youth and ICT Joe Musheru, and Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutiambai. The IG assured that the National Police Service is well prepared for the elections.
National Police Service is properly and well prepared for the election. We have enough numbers. We have enough numbers, and men and women in the National Police Service are well trained to handle this matter. We don't conduct elections, but we support IBC to conduct election.
On his part, ICTCS Joe Musheru assured of safe and secure technology to conduct and transmit the elections, while giving the media a safe space for broadcast and conducive environment for election coverage.
The first thing is that we do not conduct any elections. The second thing, we do not have access to the servers. Okay? Those are not, it's not our domain, and neither do we have the passwords. Ours is to create an environment that will allow the IBC to be able to conduct the elections and do so in a way that is secure.
Attorney General Kihara Kariuki affirmed that the country is ready for elections and urged the clergy to tend God's flock as Christ exhorted Peter in response to loving him.
We've just come through Lent, Holy Week last week, culminating in the crucifixion and resurrection of our Lord, as you know better than anyone else. I asked myself, what
would God have us do? Your grace, in these circumstances, at this time. And I remember the words of our Lord to Simon Peter, do you love me? And I pose it as a challenge to us this afternoon. Do you love me? Christ asked. So you may well ask, Your Grace, we tell you that we are ready, and indeed we are ready for the next general election. What support can you as a church render to this process?
The issues of voter bribery also came up, where CS Matiang'i assured that the thorny issue will be dealt with.
That is a danger that I see in this election. Unprecedented commercialization and voter bribery. If we are not careful as Kenyans, let me say this today in public, if we are not careful, by the time we are done with this electoral cycle, we will have laundered criminals into our elective institutions.
He also assured that the government will deal with the conflict in northern Kenya, especially in Marsabit, to foster peace in the nation.
Only one option for Marsabit, and we will exercise that option. The Inspector General and the AG sit with me in the National Security Council. They know what I am talking about.
Interior CS Fred Matiang'i has assured the country that the government has made sufficient effort to prepare for the August polls. He has at the same time asked Kenyans to dismiss the deep state fears and respect President Kenyatta's democratic right to support Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga. For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Tess Njenga.
Away from that, the Federation of Kenyan Employers, FKE, has warned that any form of political violence ahead of the August general election could affect the stabilizing business environment that recovered from the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. Speaking in Nairobi, FKE Executive Director Jacqueline Mugo said the Federation will, however, not take any political side, as seen in the Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU. Dole Murigi has more.
It is feared that the recent political temperatures could throw the country into political instability during or even after the general election, which seems to have gained momentum with barely 4 months to the much-touted elections.
This would not be possible for you.
Any form of political violence ahead of the August general election could affect the stabilizing business environment that arose from the effects of coronavirus pandemic, according to Federation of Kenya Employers, FKE. FKE Executive Director Jacqueline Mugo say they're not supporting any political faction, but are keen on a leader who will make the business environment stable and suitable to attract investors.
Kenya is engulfed in election fever, and we are seeing electioneering everywhere. And our concern is that the tempers are rising, and sometimes the quality of discourse around the elections does not really lead to peace and harmony. We want to have discourse that is respectful. We want social dialogue, and even when parties disagree, we all commit to maintaining peace.
On the factional politics, Mugo promised to stay neutral and not take root by the Central Organization Trade Union KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli, who threw their weight behind the Odinga-led coalition. However, she said her members have a right to express their democratic rights to the preferred presidential candidate, but should do it maturely, not to evoke emotions in workplaces. On the workers' welfare ahead of the International Labour Day celebrations, she said they are engaging the policymakers to ensure the employers had their salaries increased.
We know times are hard, the cost of living is high, people cannot afford to put food on the table, they're having challenges in transport, so we know that there is suffering and that Kenyans are struggling. But at the same time, enterprises are struggling. So we would like the discussions around Labour Day to be focused on an assessment of the current economic situation in the country. What are the GDP indicators? What is the inflation indicating?
And with the admission of the Democratic Republic of Congo into the East Africa community, FK is ready to assist its members have their presence felt in the regional economic market.
It is not fair for our leaders to make statements that stir up people and cause division. We want to head to the elections together as a country so that people can vote openly and fairly and democratically for whichever leaders they will choose. As a federation, we work with whichever leader, whichever new government is voted through an open, transparent and democratic process.
Muga appealed to the government to lower the cost of doing business in the country to attract more investors.
That is the macro.
Dolly Mirigi, Hope TV.
Now, the country is staring at one of the greatest political upheavals in its history as women of Kenya seek to revolutionize the political landscape at least once and for all. The political sphere has majorly been male-dominated for decades now, but political reformists are shining the light in the tunnel that may perhaps bring about a new dawn into Kenyan politics. For more than 57 years, the country has never had a woman vice or deputy president. In December 1992, a publication by Wilhelmina Duol on Kenyan women on politics highlighted vilification of women by the society as reasons why women failed to take up leadership roles. It was argued that most women decades ago could not handle the rigors of political life or are not qualified for political office. This narrative has, however, changed in 3 decades, and women are now diving into male-dominated political world with zest and determination. Now, with the country conducting its general election in less than 3.5 months, the main contenders in the presidential race are under pressure to pick women deputies. The two leaders, Deputy President William Ruto and opposition leader Raila Odinga, are now walking a tightrope and may need to reassure gender activists and women rights champions of a practical commitment to entrench the rights of women and gender equality into their core business. The weight will not only be felt by Odinga and Ruto, but also other presidential contenders like Reuben Kigame, Jimmy Wanjigi, and Mwangi Wairia. The direction that one will take will definitely influence the decision of the other. So it's a matter of who goes first. The IEBC has already set a deadline for the submission of the names of running mates. With limited time, the coalitions are busy trying to put their heads together to chart a direction that will not only infuse confidence to the electorate, but also reassure of a balanced political future as well as balanced societal structure. On Monday, a group of women leaders from 26 parties under the Azimio already fronted NARC Kenya leader Martha Karua for the second top position, saying a time has come for women to maximize on their potential. This is what the governor for Kitui County, Charity Ngilu, had to say. Let's listen in.
Women are exposed to 50% of chances in this nation. So we are not demanding, we're just asking our candidate to refer to that article and be generous and kind enough. And because we know he's a man for women, he's a he for she, that he gives the deputy president role to the women of this republic. And women of this republic will forever be grateful to him. He will go down in history as the one president who said that he will make a new paradigm shift, and he will put women in the pedestal where they duly belong and the space that they have fought for many years.
Where you find men meeting, if you don't find woman's face, then you do not have proper representation of the nation. And this is representing half the nation. So it's not about me or I. We are talking about the nation and the journey we are traveling.
Similar sentiments are being expressed on the Kenya Kwanza Alliance coalition headed by the Deputy President William Ruto, where he is under pressure to select Anne Waiguru as a running mate. As storms brew in these two coalitions, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi are also eyeing similar positions in Azimio and Kenya Kwanza respectively, but are now facing unprecedented hurdles that may force them to rethink their demands. As presidential candidates scratch their heads to come up with decisions that will not harm the internal functional organs, we spoke to a section of Kenyans on the same, and this is what they had to say.
I think it's time we tried women in leadership, because women have performed very well in other parts of the world. So right now, I think it's time the two presidential candidates, that's Raila, that's Baba, and the DP also consider a woman as their running mate, because time is ripe for us also as a country to really have women in leadership.
The two presidential candidates, they should select a woman as a running mate. My own opinion, one, ladies mostly have done it better. We have seen devolution in counties. Most ladies, they have done better than we have been having men all through.
Lazima tubadilishe naye mama tuone anafanya namna, kwa sababu tumeona nchi nyingi siki vice president, tumeona ma president. Hata nayo tujaribu tuone mabadiliko. Hii ni wakati wa mabadiliko.
Kenya having a female deputy president, I think it is high time. But I will just speak on our side, as Azimio side, because that is what I'm well conversant with. I think it is high time we give Martha Karua a chance to be the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, because what Kalonzo can do, Karua can do it better in terms of gender.
Martha Karua ako na msimamo, tumemwona kwa serikali ya Kibaki akisaidia Kibaki. Tumeona kweli ni mama, tukikuwa na wamama kama Waigoro, kama wakina Ngiru, ni wamama wanatosa sana. Wako mstari ya mbele.
You heard for yourself. Now the truth is that the country needs to change. It needs to develop. It needs to evolve from retrogressive politics of division to balanced politics where each person's full potential can be utilized. Historical records have revealed that women have not spared themselves in the fight to make Kenya the country it is today. The women of the country have worked in the background since independence to build an egalitarian society. The everlasting invisibility of the politically strong woman should be uncovered and allowed to thrive in the most conducive democratic space. Well, as you think about that, let's take a short break on Newswatch. We'll be back with more.
There comes a time in a nation's history where you have to question the direction the nation is going.
Kenya is fast approaching general elections, and new aspiring leaders are tactically bracing themselves for positions.
I come to declare that Kenyans are walking out of captivity into a glorious future.
Apostle Faith Wairimo is taking a stab at the presidency.
My name is Wairimo Faith, and I will be honored to be your fifth president.
We speak to the youthful August 9th presidential aspirant, Faith Wairimo, this Wednesday on Spotlight at 7:30 p.m. exclusively on Hope TV.
Welcome back to Hope TV News. Let's continue with this broadcast. The Ministry of Energy has commended efforts by government agencies and oil marketing companies in ensuring that petroleum products loadings and deliveries continued throughout the Easter weekend. Through a statement, the ministry confirmed that a majority of petroleum retail stations across the country were carrying out business as usual and that there were no queues at fuel stations across the country. Grace Ngoi reports.
Just a few days after Energy Cabinet Secretary, who is also Acting Minister of Petroleum and Mining, Ambassador Monica Juma issued a warning to oil marketers to stop hoarding the pricey commodity and assured motorists that normalcy would return in the flow of fuel in fuel stations across the country within 72 hours. Long queues in fuel stations have become a thing of the past. According to the Energy Ministry, by Monday, a majority of petroleum retail stations across the country were carrying out business as usual, an indication that the worst had passed. Through a statement sent to newsrooms, the ministry commended the efforts by government agencies and all marketing companies, OMCs, in ensuring that petroleum products, loadings and deliveries continued throughout the Easter weekend. Since 14th April, when fuel prices were revised, and a weekend that saw Kenyans travel for Easter celebrations, a total of 10,614,000 litres of super petrol and 13,329,000 litres of diesel have been loaded and distributed across the breadth of the country. The Kenya Pipeline Company, KPC, had come out to confirm that it had enough fuel reserves to sustain the supply in the country despite the fuel shortage experienced in the country. So far, the state corporation, as of 18th April 2022, had 52,900,000 litres of super petrol and 82,177,000 litres of diesel. The Ministry of Energy also announced that investigations on companies that were reported not to maintain minimum operational stocks or to hoard petroleum in the past 2 weeks have already begun. Grace Wangoi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Now, the United Democratic Alliance Party has announced that it will not hold nominations by way of universal suffrage in Embakasi East, Kamukunji and Starehe constituencies, where the party was expected to hold repeat nominations after the results were disputed. National Elections Board Chairman Anthony Mwaura has stated that the party will instead use alternative methods, either by consensus or opinion polls, to arrive at candidates. As Kennedy Kimani now reports, Deputy President William Ruto will next week meet both winners and losers in the UDA nominations, a move which is seen as a strategy to avert further fallouts in the party ahead of the August general election.
The United Democratic Alliance Party has cancelled nominations for Kamukunji, Embakasi East and Starehe constituencies in Nairobi County, where the party was expected to hold repeat nominations after the results were disputed, and instead now opts to use opinion polls to settle on suitable candidates. This means that only Roysambu constituency and the 19 wards in Nairobi will have the nominations on Wednesday. UDA has also halted the joint nomination exercise, with Musalia Mudavadi's Amani National Congress Party in Dagoretti North and Mathare constituencies as alternative methods will be used between the coalition partners. The UDA Party Electoral Nomination Dispute Resolution Committee has handed Naivasha MP Jane Wanjiru Kihara the nomination certificate after the committee asserting that she was the winner. Kihara had filed an appeal following the concluded party primaries in which aspirant John Karanja Kihagi was announced the winner. Meanwhile, a section of UDA supporters in Narok South and West on Tuesday defected to the Jubilee Party, protesting the poor nomination process. The defectors, led by Peter Mosonik and Thomas Tanui from Ilmotiok ward, alleged that despite the two parliamentary seats quagmire, many of their preferred candidates in the ward levels were rigged out by county party officials.
Jubilee imeweza kupokea viongozi kutoka kwa jamii ya Kalenjin, kutoka Narok South na Narok West constituency. Wamekuja hapa na wataongea karibuni wakisema sasa defect kutoka chama alikuwa naye na ameingia kwa Jubilee.
Ningetaka tu niombe timu ya Mheshimiwa Konjela na Mheshimiwa Kenda wakuche nyumbani, maana tumechoka na uongozi ya familia moja.
Leo tumeamua tutasupport Mheshimiwa Konjela kwa hali na mali, na wafuasi wetu wote tunawaomba kwa umoja, kwa amani, watu wote wa Ilmotiok, watu wote wa Narok West to support Mheshimiwa Konjela kwa hali na mali.
Deputy President William Ruto is next week expected to meet both the winners and losers in the UDA nominations, a move which is seen as a strategy to avert further fallouts in the party ahead of the August 9th polls. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch.
Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga has issued nomination certificates to victors in the recent nomination exercise in all the 6 coastal counties at a ceremony held in Mombasa. Speaking during the occasion, Odinga urged the electorate in the region to turn up for voting in August and vote for the candidates. The ODM leader, who is also the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate, said upon clinching the presidency, his government will ensure the coastal people benefit from the port of Mombasa.
Maruma Senator Sharif Nasir, Senator Mohamed Faki Mwinyahadi,
Kwanza nataka kutoa shukrani sana kwa wanachama wetu wa hapa Mombasa na Pwani kwa jumla kwa ile kitendo ya ungwana mmeonyesha wakati wa kura ya mchujo. Katika wakati wa mchujo yoyote, mtaka kwa yule ambaye ameshinda na yule ambaye ameshindwa. Asiyekubali kushinda sio, lakini hiyo hata sio ushindi. Ilikuwa tu sisi ndani mambo ya undani ya nyumba. Sasa nataka tuungane pamoja. Usidharau yule mwingine ulikuwa unashindana na yeye. Yeye ni mwanachama wa ODM. Hata wewe ambaye hukufaulu, ungana na yule ambaye amefaulu, twende pamoja kama wana wa ODM.
Pamoja African Alliance Party PAA members have held demonstrations in Malindi town protesting against alleged injustice in the nomination process by the party. The members, who are led by Malindi parliamentary aspirant in PAA ticket Kenneth Karisa, together with 3 others aspiring MCAs from Malindi Town Ward and Kakuyuni Ward, claimed the party did not follow the due process in the nomination exercise, which was done through interviews conducted by the board. Carrying placards marked "No Karisa, No PAA" in Malindi, among others, the members converged at the Market Village Hall before marching to the town centre through the roundabout Sabaki Pharmacy area to the PAA sub-county offices in Alaskan, demanding justice. They gave the party leader, Amazon Kingi, 24 hours to intervene, or else they will hold another meeting and chart the way forward to their members.
Sisi watu wa Malindi tulikuwa tunangojea uamuzi, uchaguzi wa haki na uhuru. Lakini tumeshangazwa sana. Na hatusemi Gavana Kingi hayajui. Gavana Kingi unayajua vizuri sana. Sisi hatutaki kuchaguliwa. Tulikuwa nawe pale Goshi tukikwambia tunataki, hatupangiwi, tunapanga wenyewe. Leo tunashangaa tikiti imepewa yule, amepewa yule, amepewa yule. Kwa nini hawa watu hawaji ground? Wenye kuamua ni sisi. Si kupewa na tikiti ofisini. Sisi ndio ambao tunaamua.
Yale maamuzi ambayo yamefanywa katika board na watu wachache, mimi kama kiongozi siko radhi nayo na sijaridhika nayo, na nataka nitume ujumbe huu kwa party leader wa PAA ambaye anayajua yale maamuzi, maana haiwezekani iwe yeye hajui ndani ya board kunaendelea nini. Ikiwa board ile ndani ya masaa 24 kuanzia sasa haitabadilisha maamuzi yale yao, haitaenda kulingana na hitaji la wana Malindi, nataka niseme sisi tutaitana tena kama viongozi wa mashinani na kama wana Malindi ambao tuko na sauti, na tutapeana mwelekeo mpya kwa watu wetu.
Baada ya kuzungumza na watu wangu na voters wangu, manake mimi silaha yangu ni wapigaji kura, tuliamua ya kwamba tukatae uamuzi ambao tulipatiwa na bodi pale jana, kwa sababu ya kwamba hatukupatiwa kriteria, yani hatukupatiwa sababu za kwa nini kwamba mtu fulani ndo amechaguliwa na wewe hujachaguliwa kwa sababu gani.
Let's move to Siaya County now. Former Arieda Member of Parliament Nicholas Gumbo has maintained that the United Democratic Movement UDM party, with which he wants to become governor in Siaya County, is a party under the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance coalition. This he said to refute claims from his competitors, whom he said were maligning his name and discrediting his legitimacy. Gumbo at the same time has challenged his competitor in the ODM party, Senator James Orengo, to outline his achievements since he ascended into leadership. Speaking during a roadshow in Siaya County, Gumbo, who was accompanied by former police spokesman Charles Owino, blamed their competitors for misleading the public on the UDM party position. He further dismissed calls for a 6-piece ODM voting pattern.
We are here, myself, Engineer Nicholas Gumbo Wajonya, Charles Owino Wahongo, to appeal to Josiah to give us the seat of governor come 9th of August 2022. We are contesting under Azimio la Umoja, headed by Raila Amolo Odinga. We know that our competitors are misleading the people. Our competitors are misleading the people that our party does not belong to Azimio la Umoja. UDM is a member of Azimio la Umoja, headed by Governor Mandera Ali Roba. What we want is to compete on ideas. Our main competitor is our senator. Our senator has been in parliament since some of us were little kids. He has to tell the people of Siaya what he has done in the 42 years that he has been in parliament without producing even a poster. We want to tell our senator he's an activist, he's an agitator, but he cannot manage the county of Siaya, the resources of Siaya. The resources of Siaya will be managed by people who believe in the dreams of our great father, Raila Amolo Odinga, who says that no child should sit at home because of lack of school fees, who says no Kenyan should go to bed hungry. That is what we believe in. Together with Raila Amolo Odinga, we'll make sure that Yala Swamp is revived so that we employ our youth, so that no youth is able to sit idle, so that all our youth are able to get meaningful jobs.
Democratic Party leader Justin Muturi has broken his silence on his alleged fallout with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Speaking at a hotel in Kiambu County during Father Lawrence Kamere's 26-year Thanksgiving ceremony, Speaker Muturi said his decision to move from the president's camp is based on political calculations and not personal differences. Muturi also spoke on a number of issues, including IEBC's timelines on presidential candidates and naming of running mates.
As long as it is convenient for the IEBC to print ballot papers, if they are not inconvenienced by whatever date, then the end date is perfect. And therefore, I personally will not have any particular preference. But the earlier the better, you know. The earlier the better, so that people can start organizing themselves. And therefore, I have no quarrel with the date given by the IEBC, and perhaps they have a good reason, because remember the names of the presidential candidate and their running mates have to be printed on some ballot paper that has got some certain features, and it may well be that IEBC, in giving that date and taken cognizance of the periods that they may need to go and do the printing. It suffice to say that the president is a Democrat and appreciates various shades of opinions, and from time to time there's a possibility of holding different points of view, which is not a bad thing in itself. But like he has chosen to support his arch rival in the last two elections, but today they are working together. So that's the way, politics is dynamic. So today you are holding this view, tomorrow you may be given the changes that may have happened in the political space, you change your viewpoint.
Right, with that, let's take another short break on Newswatch. We'll be back with business and sports news. Do stay with us.
This week on Testify.
3 times I escaped, I survived mob justice. The last one was around Gomongo. And that was the worst of it all. That one, it was a total preservation from God, because I remember me lying down there, and then I heard them saying, "Let a tire." And then they brought the tire, and they said, no, we need also to have a petrol.
Only on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Join us every Sunday for Unlimited. uplifting, powerful worship, only on Extended Worship.
Welcome back to Newswatch. The government plans to create over 200,000 jobs under information technology IT-enabled services in the Vision 2030's fourth medium-term development plan. Principal Secretary for Broadcasting and Telecommunications Esther Koimet said the plan that starts in 2023 to 2027 also aims at achieving a 10% gross domestic product GDP growth rate by the year 2030. The PS said the government is continually reviewing public policy guidelines to ensure that the right business environment prevails in the country to help facilitate targeted economic growth. She said the policy review was targeting three major areas, including ICT-led industries, capacity development, and innovation in economic and social systems. The PS made the remarks in a speech read on her behalf by Director of Planning in the ICT Ministry, Joseph Wambua, during the official opening of a 5-day workshop on the preparation of the business process outsourcing sector plan for the fourth medium-term plan held in Nakuru City.
Just brief on the fourth medium-term plan 2023 to 2027 of Kenya Vision 2030 will succeed the third medium-term plan 2018-2022, which was officially launched on 2nd February 2022 at Kenyatta International Conference Center. Development of the BPO sector is expected to facilitate growth and development of knowledge-based economy for Kenya. Under the economy pillar, the sector is expected to create over 200,000 jobs in BPO and IT-enabled services in the medium-term period. The target is to continue to contribute towards 10% of gross domestic product growth rate by the year 2030.
Let's get to some sports news now. Muthaiga Golf Club's impressive performance during the Easter weekend extended their reign as champions of the Tannehill Shield tournament that was hosted by Royal Nairobi Golf Club from Friday to Sunday. Muthaiga emerged as the top club amongst 9 teams who played in this year's edition after bagging a total of 53 points from 4 rounds, 5 more than last year. Both Royal Nairobi Golf and Railway Golf Club scored 10 points each in the final round to come in joint second with an overall 36 points, while regional Team Western took 4th place with a point lower at 35 points. Derby County have been relegated from the championship after their loss to Queen's Park Rangers and Reading's dramatic draw with Swansea. Wayne Rooney's side were handed a 12-point deduction early in the season after entering administration. On the 16th of November 2021, Derby were given a further 9-point deduction for breaching the English Football League accounting rules, which led to a 21-point deduction, a deficit that ultimately sees them relegated. Derby had been in the championship since they were relegated from the Premier League in the 2007-2008 season. Manchester United will face their arch-rivals Liverpool in a midweek Premier League fixture slated at 10 p.m. East African time. The fixture, which Liverpool's coach Jurgen Klopp has termed as the meeting of the world's biggest club, comes at the back of a 3-2 win by Man United at home to Norwich on Saturday, which puts them back in the hunt for a place in the top 4 of the Premier League. A draw or win will take Liverpool to the top of the Premier League table. All right, we've come to the end of this live broadcast tonight. Thank you so much for keeping us company. Till next time, God bless. I'm Tony Omondi, and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. Have a good night.